Here's another example. In this example, we have the same population of 4 people with the same 4 heights. And in this question, we want to find the probability of randomly selecting 3 people from the population and getting a sample mean below 56.67. So we're going to follow the same 3 steps to get the answer, but step 1 is going to be different because now we're selecting a sample of 3 people, which means that in step 1, we need to calculate the means of all possible samples of 3 people. So we're going to follow these steps to get the answer. We're going to calculate the mean of each possible sample of 3 people. We're going to calculate the number of sample means below 56.67, because that's what the question is asking for. And then we're going to divide the answer from step 2 by the total number of sample means. So in step 1, we sort out the population into all possible samples of 3 people. To do this, you just leave out one person each time. So sample 1 leaves out person 4, sample 2 leaves out person 3, sample 3 leaves out person 2, and sample 4 leaves out person 1. And these are the 4 possible samples of 3 people. Next, we can just calculate the mean of each possible sample of 3 people. To do that, we just add the 3 numbers and divide the total by 3, and we do that for all 4 samples. Once we get all 4 of the sample means, we can move on to the next step, step 2. In step 2, we just count the number of sample means that are below 56.67. Since this sample mean right here is 56.67, and the other 2 sample means are above that number, this is the only sample mean that's actually below 56.67. So in step 2, we found out that 1 out of 4 possible samples have a sample mean below this number right here. Now we're ready to move on to step 3. In step 3, we just divide 1 by the total number of possible samples, which is 4, and 1 divided by 4 is 0.25. So our answer is 0.25, or as a fraction, it's 1/4. In this graph, we can see the means of the 4 possible samples of 3 people, and we can see that 1/4 of the possible samples have a sample mean that's below 56.67. All of these other 3 samples have a sample mean that's 56.67 or higher. That's why the probability is 1/4.